White played King d3. Pause the video and try to predict Black's next move. White might go for Rook takes c4. Pawn takes c4 check. King takes c4 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King c5 move preferred by Black. On the 5. Rook takes d4 check. Pawn takes d4 check. King b4. King c2. King c4. King b2. King takes d4. King b3. King e3. King b4. Pawn d4. King c5. Pawn d3. King b6. Pawn d2. King takes a 6. Pawn promotes to queen at d1. Black is planning to play Queen b3. King a7. Queen b4. Pawn a6. Queen b5. King a8. Queen takes a 6 check and take decisive advantage. King b5. Black is in a commanding position. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. Rook g5. Pause the video to analyze Black's next move. Rook takes f2. Rook a5. White is setting up to play King takes e4 and take decisive advantage. Rook e2 was chosen by Black. Rook takes a 6 check. King c7. Rook a7 check. King b8. Black considers playing King takes a 7 and take decisive advantage. Rook f7 played by White. On f2. Black considers playing Pawn promotes to Queen at f1 check and take decisive advantage. King e5 played by White. On e3. Black is preparing to play Rook c2. Rook f8 check. King b7. Rook f7 check. King a6 and dominate the board. Pawn b4 played by White. Rook c2. King d6. Rook takes c3. On d5. On e2. Black intends to play Pawn promotes to Queen at f1. Rook e7. Queen f8 and increase their advantage significantly. Rook takes f2 move preferred by White. Pawn promotes to Queen at e1. Rook f8 check. Black is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. Rook a2. Pause the video to figure out White's next move. Black is looking to play Pawn takes c4 and secure a stronghold in the game. Pawn takes d5 played by White. Rook takes a 3 check. King g4. King b5. On d6. White considers playing on d7. On a5. Pawn promotes to Queen at d8 and sees the initiative. Rook d3 played by Black. Rook e8. Rook d5. King f5. King c5. King e6. King d4. On d7. Rook takes e5 check. King d6. Rook d5 check. King takes c6. Rook takes d7. King takes d7. King d5. White has a decisive advantage. Let's go to the next game. White just played on g5 check. Pause the video to analyze Black's next move. King h5. Black is preparing to play Pawn takes g2 and dominate the board. Rook c2 played by White. Rook f4 check. King e5. White's idea is to play King takes f4 and increase their advantage significantly. King takes g5 was chosen by Black. Rook c8. Rook f7. Rook g8 check. King h4. Black is looking to play on f2. Rook h8 check. King g4. Rook g8 check. King f3. King e6. Rook f4. King d6. Pawn promotes to queen at f1 and secure a stronghold in the game. King e6 was chosen by white. Rook f4. King e5. White intends to play king takes f4 and take decisive advantage. Rook g4 move preferred by black. Black is aiming to play rook takes g8 and secure a stronghold in the game. Rook f8 was chosen by white. King g3. King d5. On f2. Black is setting up to play rook f4. Rook takes f4. King takes f4 and gain a significant edge. King e5 played by white. King g2. Black considers playing rook g6. King d4. Rook g5. King e3. Pawn promotes to queen at f1. Rook takes f1. King takes f1 and increase their advantage significantly. Rook f6 played by white. Rook g3. Rook takes f2 check. King takes f2. King d5. Black is in a commanding position. Let's go to the next game. White played rook b4. Pause the video to figure out black's next move. Rook takes b4. Pawn takes b4. King d4. Black intends to play king c4. King d1. King takes b4 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Pawn b5 move preferred by white. White's idea is to play pawn b6. Pawn e5. Pawn b7. Pawn e4. Pawn promotes to queen at b8 and take decisive advantage. King c5 was chosen by black. Black's idea is to play pawn e5. King c2. King takes b5 and increase their advantage significantly. King c3 was chosen by white. Pawn e5. Black intends to play king takes b5 and take decisive advantage. King c2 played by white. King takes b5. King d1. King c4. Black considers playing king d3. King e1. King c2. King f2. Pawn d4. King g3. Pawn d3. King g4. Pawn d2 and increase their advantage significantly. King c2 played by white. Pawn d4. King d2. Pawn d3. Black is setting up to play king d4. King e1. King e3. King d1. Pawn d2. King c2. King e2. Pawn b4. Pawn takes b3 check and gain a significant edge. King e3 move preferred by white. On a3. Black is looking to play pawn takes b2 and take decisive advantage. Pawn takes a3 was chosen by white. King c3. King e4. Pawn d2. Pawn a4. Pawn promotes to queen at d1. King takes e5. Black is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. White just played king b3. Pause the video and try to predict black's next move. Rook e2. Black might go for king e4. Rook c2. King d3. Rook c6. Rook takes f2 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Rook c2 was chosen by white. Rook takes c2. King takes c2. King e4. King c3. King d5. King d3. King c5. Black wants to play king b4. King e4. King takes a5 and secure a stronghold in the game. King c3 move preferred by white. King d5. King d4. King takes a5. king e3, king b5, king f4. On the 5, king takes g4. On a4, king takes f3. On a3, black might go for king c5, king g4. On a2, king f5. On promotes to queen at a1 and put immense pressure on the opponent. King f4 was chosen by white. On a2, king f5. On promotes to queen at a1. Black's idea is to play queen g7, king f4, king c4, king e4, queen g4 check, and establish a winning position. On g4 black is clearly ahead. Let's go to the next game. Black just played. Rook takes f6. Pause the video and try to find white's next move. Black considers playing rook takes f1 and gain a significant edge. Rook takes f6 was chosen by white. King takes f6. On c5, king e6. Black wants to play pawn takes c5 and seize the initiative. Pawn takes b6 played by white. King d7. Black wants to play on g5, king d3. On h4, on a5, on c5, on a6, king c6 and gain a significant edge. On h4 was chosen by white. King c8. On the 5, white wants to play on a6, king b8, king d3 and establish a winning position. King b7 played by black. King d3. White intends to play king d4. On g5. On takes g5 and dominate the board. On c5 played by black. King c4. White is planning to play king b5. King c8. King c6. King d8. On a6. King e7. On a7, on c4, on b7, and take decisive advantage. King c6 was chosen by black. King c3, king b7, king d3, king c8. On a6, white is aiming to play king c4, king d7, king takes c5 and put immense pressure on the opponent. On g5 move preferred by black. Black's idea is to play pawn takes h4 and seize the initiative. On takes g5 was chosen by white. On h4, on g6, king d7, on g7, on h3, on promotes to queen at g8. White is setting up to play on a7, on h2, queen d5 check, and secure a stronghold in the game. On h2 white has a decisive advantage. Let's go to the next game. Black played. On e4 pause the video to figure out white's next move. Rook takes f7. Rook takes f7. Rook takes f7. King takes f7. On a4. White is aiming to play on a5, king f6, on a6, king e5, on a7, king takes d5, king f1 and put immense pressure on the opponent. On takes a4 played by black. On takes a4, king e7, king f2. White might go for on h4. King d7, king e3, king c7, king takes e4, king b6, king f4 and establish a winning position. On h4 was chosen by black. King e3, king d8, king takes e4, king c7, king f4, king b6, King g5. White wants to play. King f6. King c7. King e6. On g5. On a5, and increase their advantage significantly. King c5 move preferred by black. King takes h4. King takes d5. King g3. King c5. King f3. King b4. On h4. On d5. King e2. King takes a4. On g4. White intends to play. King e3. King b5. King d4. King c6. On h5. On takes h5. On takes h5. King b5. On h6, and seize the initiative. King b4 move preferred by black. King d3. White is looking to play. King d4. King b3. King takes d5, and dominate the board. King c5 played by black. On h5. White is planning to play pawn takes g6, and put immense pressure on the opponent. King d6 move preferred by black. On h6. White wants to play. King d4. King e7. On h7. King f6. On promotes to queen at h8 check. King g5. Queen h3, and establish a winning position. King e5 move preferred by black. On h7. King e6. On promotes to queen at h8. On g5 white is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. White played. Rook a5 check. Pause the video to figure out black's next move. On e5. Black might go for rook h8 mate, and dominate the board. King h4 played by white. King f4. Black's idea is to play rook h8 mate, and increase their advantage significantly. King h5 was chosen by white. Rook g3. Black is looking to play. Rook h3 check. King g6. Rook takes f3, and dominate the board. King h4 was chosen by white. Rook g1. Black wants to play rook h1 mate, and gain a significant edge. King h5 move preferred by white. Rook f1. Black's idea is to play rook takes f3, and take decisive advantage. Rook a7 played by white. Rook h1 check. King g6. King takes f3. Rook f7 check. King g4. Rook e7. Rook e1. King f6. King f4. King e6. Rook a1. King d5. Rook d1 check. King c4. On e4. Rook e8. On e3. King c3. King f3. Rook f8 check. King g2. Black is aiming to play. On e2. Rook e8. On promotes to queen at e1 check. Rook takes e1. Rook takes e1, and dominate the board. Rook e8 was chosen by white. King f2. Rook f8 check. King e1. Rook f6. Rook d8. Rook h6. On e2. Black is setting up to play. King d1. Rook e6. On promotes to queen at e1 check. Rook takes e1 check. King takes e1, and establish a winning position. King c2 move preferred by white. Rook c8 check. King d3. King d1. Rook h1 check. On promotes to queen at e1. Rook takes e1 check. King takes e1. King d4. Black has a strong upper hand. Let's go to the next game. White made a move. On c4. Pause the video to analyze black's next move. On takes b4. On a5 check. King c5. Rook b1. On e4. Black is preparing to play pawn takes d3 and establish a winning position. Pawn takes e4 played by white. King takes c4. Rook c1 check. King b5. Black is planning to play pawn b3. Rook b1. King b4 and gain a significant edge. Pawn e5 played by white. White's idea is to play pawn takes d6 and secure a stronghold in the game. Pawn takes e5 was chosen by black. Rook c7. King takes a5. Rook takes b7. Rook f6. On d6. Rook takes d6. King f2. On e4. On g4. King a4. Rook a7 check. King b5. Rook b7 check. King c4. Rook c7 check. King d3. Rook b7. King c3. Rook c7 check. King b2. King g3. Rook b6. King f4. On b3. King takes e4. King a2. Rook a7 check. King b1. Black considers playing King c2. King d4. On b2. Rook a2. Rook b4 check. King c5. Rook e4. On h4. Rook takes e3 and gain a significant edge. King d3 played by white. On b2. Black is preparing to play King c1. King e2. Pawn promotes to queen at b1 and sees the initiative. King d2 was chosen by white. Rook d6 check. King e2. Rook d5. On e4. White considers playing pawn takes d5 and take decisive advantage. Rook d4 played by black. On e5. King c2. Black is preparing to play Rook d2 check. King f3. Pawn promotes to queen at b1 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Rook b7 played by white. Rook e4 check. King f3. White's idea is to play king takes e4 and secure a stronghold in the game. Rook takes e5 move preferred by black. Rook c7 check. King b3. Rook b7 check. King c3. Black is setting up to play Rook e1. On g5. Pawn takes g5 and establish a winning position. On h4 move preferred by white. Rook c5. Black is planning to play Rook c4. Rook takes b2. King takes b2. King g3. King c3. On g5. On h5 and take decisive advantage. On g5 was chosen by white. On takes g5. On takes g5. Rook takes g5. King e2. Rook g4. King f3. Rook b4. Black is setting up to play Rook takes b7 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Rook takes b4 was chosen by white. King takes b4. King f4. White's loss is confirmed. Let's go to the next game.